That was weird. That's never happened before. Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
That was weird. Welcome. It's a White Wall review. We got to go to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and we got to see the FENWAY exhibition at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I just said that. It was a really fun visit, and we're gonna do this in like two-parters. We're gonna talk a little bit about the museum, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the exhibition. So the team went out. We had a field trip, which was really fun, which is really exciting. I know it was great to see everyone in person and not just in our recording pods and our recording squares. So for one, it's good to see you all again, and I appreciate seeing you all, even though like recording has been difficult for us because Mercury is in retrograde and it is really impacting us heavy for some reason.
Yeah, aren't you on a generator right now?
Yeah, so I lost power last night and there is a generator outside of my house, so we'll see how long that power lasts. We're on that. Vaughn is on the move. Steph is outside the state. Like, we're everywhere. And Car, I think you're the only one in like a kind of normal situation. Kinda. And he's frozen.
Oh. I hope that stays.
Yeah, we'll get it back. So we want to start with how it was like being at a museum, especially now that the world's open. So for us, we went to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum on a Saturday at 1:30. Our appointment was. It was hot as balls, so it's very funny that like the weekend is taking a complete shift from what last weekend was. We're experiencing monsoons now, and last week it was hot as Hades.
How the weather just changes so fast.
Yeah, so quick.
It was pretty hot. I think I got like a short tan a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
It really like it was really nostalgic for me because the last time I've been at the Isabella Gardner Museum, they were doing I forget what they named it, but they had like a DJ in the middle of the
it was on a Thursday, right?
It's like
Thursdays. I forget
what they call it. But they had
been so long.
Free wine, you know what I'm saying? I only knew a couple of art pieces because I knew that's where the wine table was. It was a night at the museum, I think. But anyways, it was really dope. So it was really nostalgic for me because the weather was nice. We was looking cute. I was so happy for field trip day, and like the vibe was like there again.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I think we weren't the only ones taking a field trip. That museum was pizzacked. I don't know if anyone felt that, but the world's open. Massachusetts definitely open. Our governor made that very clear, for better or worse. And we experienced a packed museum, and it was, I would say, uncomfortable.
Well, let's make it clear that we went before the mandate was lifted. So it was like a few days before. So people were still wearing their masks. They still, was very active with like hand sanitizer, whatever. But there was a lot of people.
A lot of people.
For sure.
I think it was, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think it was, like, I was nervous, yes. When there's like too many people like in close proximity, I'm like, in general, like this is pre-COVID, And then, I think with COVID, it really made us like not antisocial, but it's just like you weren't socializing as much as before. Like you weren't around people, like you weren't walking around and like the world is open, Like we went a whole year just like being isolated, just kind of being like within our own neighborhood or sometimes not going out for weeks. And then to all of a sudden go out into the world and there's like this many people, for me, it gives me I'm not gonna lie, it gives me a little anxiety. But at the same time, I'm like, I could do this. Like, I don't mind being out if it was maybe less, or maybe if like, if I have the crack of dawn and like go and do, you know what I mean? I think right now, everyone's just so excited to go out that no matter where we go, I think it's just going to be really packed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it kind of makes me like slow down a little bit with this summer. For me, I'm like, I'm just going to maybe enjoy my summer a little a little alone.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be another solo, semi-solo summer again.
Yeah.
Look,
Like
no,
literally goes back out.
if you're vaxxed and waxed, you're good to go. That's what they say.
I don't know about that one. I'm a little nervous about that one. I don't know, Edgar, how did you feel being in a museum again? Like packed. I mean, the last time we were in a museum, I was at the MFA, and there wasn't nearly as many people, right? And plus, MFA is much larger, so there's also that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the addition of like it being a small space. We're losing them. We're losing them.
Yes.
Probably.
He might have to type it in.
Yeah, we might have to get him in the chat. Yeah,
Okay.
but oh, can we hear you?
Can you?
Technical difficulty.
I'm just gonna mute it and then.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, Edgar was obviously a part of our group activity. And we did split up for a second and then kind of got back together a little bit later as we went through the palace. And I think particularly in the palace is when it felt really crowded. When we went to see the FENWAY exhibition, it felt a little bit more, we had a lot more breathing room. It didn't feel so like, yeah, there just wasn't as much people. And so when you got to the palace, it was obnoxious amount of people, and folks just like, I feel like folks really, like you were saying, Steph, people are really excited just to be out. And it's really nice to see people out, but I think that they're not quite thinking about how they can make this experience better for the people around them, particularly like people spent way too long looking at artworks. I know the point of a museum is to look at a piece of art, but unfortunately right now you can't just sit in front of something for 15-20 minutes when there are plenty of other people around you.
You gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, and like there's like the palace is going through some transitions right now. There's some parts of it that are being upgraded or renovated, and people were staying in those areas really long just to see what was the plan for next.
There was a line. There was a line to go to each section of the museum, and it was like kind of weird because I'm like, can we just keep it like moving? Like, can we keep it going? But I think I'll say walking into the palace, because I guess we'll get to the actual exhibit, but walking into the palace, I feel like it's like I just can't believe somebody lived there. I'm like, a lady lived there, like what? And she's just collecting stuff. And I had to, I don't know if you remember me asking you this, but I was like, yo, is she like a low-key hoarder? Like,
she is a hoarder.
Technically a hoarder? Because she got so much stuff.
I think what I liked about, to go off of Vaughn's thing, like, because I think, didn't she move out eventually and just made it just for her like collection? Because it wasn't like
I'm pretty sure she lived in it till the end of her life, but she just lived on the 3rd floor. Like, I think she started making it more public at the bottom and then moved her stuff up. And that's kind of why the 3rd floor is now, or the top floor is now like offices and business stuff, from my understanding.
Like, I think about like, if I had a palace like that, right? Like, what would I fill it with? And I'm like, well, she loved traveling and she loved collecting art from around the world. And I'm like, well, I guess that's pretty cool. Like, I wasn't really a fan of like a lot of her artwork. I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of the chosen art, there were some things where I'm like, oh, this is beautiful, or like, this is interesting, but nothing where I was like,
she loves medieval art, and I'm not a fan of medieval art at all. I'm gonna be frank. Like, it's heavy looking. But I feel you, like I had the same, like every time I go into that space, I'm like, if only I had a courtyard. If only I had these spaces.
I actually enjoy going to the Isabella for the garden. Like the garden, and I think I like going, there's like these blue stairs. There's like a hallway that's all blue. I like pops of color like around the museum where I'm like, those I appreciate, but mostly it's just the garden. Like I love looking at it. I could just sit there and just stare at it. I love it for that.
And I would say, like, if the new modern wing was not built in the last, what was it, like 10 years, this space wouldn't be visited by many folks anymore because of the lack of change it has. But I think that could transition us into talking about FENWAY. So we'll say that the opening of the museum and the fact that it's very much open now is making us a little anxious, but it still is a very beautiful space that everyone should visit and take advantage of. And there's outdoor spaces there too, which is great. And I mean, the cafe is open. Everything seems like it's their gift shop is super cute. So yeah, definitely check out the museum if you have the ability to. I mean, Isabella is a really profound woman. She's one of my fave white women, you know. She's probably problematic if I met her, but you know, from what I know about her now, she seems okay.
Isabella was a hoarder.
She is a hoarder.
And she was a hoarder and a thief. She was a thief, and I guess I'll bring up this question. We could touch on it for a quick second, but I guess she's full of herself because she has a portrait made out of an oil painting or whatever. But I don't know, was the camera invented back then? She don't have a picture of herself.
Yeah, she didn't have a photo of herself. And Vaughn was really tripped up on this painting, y'all, because she then wanted to make sure we all were asked the question, would we rather have an oil painting as a memorabilia of our life or a representation of who we are, or a photograph? And we all had different answers, and maybe we'll talk about that later on, but I do think it's important that she did have a beautiful image of herself. I think she did alter it in some ways, but I also think she was truthful to her beauty. I don't think she overdid it. So I respect her for that, you know?
Okay.
She's not like Chris Brown's mama putting face, like changing her face completely in photos. So we'll give her that. I just saw that video about Chris Brown's mom.
No, my heart.
Crazy. I can't believe she does that.
My heart goes up.
A little Kim. I just got a little Kim, honestly.
Oh, little Kim.
I just want to hug them. I just want to be like,
seriously.
Yeah, you're an older woman. It's okay. Like, it's okay.
Everyone, anybody who does that.
Oh, know? Yeah, that's true. That's not just
fame got to her head, and maybe the fame got to Isabella's head. That's why she kept collecting stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, well, she made sure that her waist looked tight and her hips were wide in that picture. Yep. She said, hourglass, bitch. Like, she's like, I might not overdo the face thing, but to make sure the bate is on point. Like,
she might got that 1% in her.
Yeah. Just to get them hips. All right, we're gonna come back to you with some talk about FENWAY. All right, now we're gonna talk about FENWAY, or FENWAY, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. He is a painter, a dancer, a choreographer, and a filmmaker. He fluidly moves between disciplinaries and cultures to create arts that expresses a common spirit between animating the world around us. Okay, so he's a dancer, I would say first, and painter second.
Okay.
I think. From what I understand of his story, it seems like FENWAY started as a dancer in Chinese opera houses when he was around 14, 15. So this is like his life. Like, this is pretty much like, I feel like this is how I was thrown into, you know, the art world at 14, 15, going into high school and being like, now visual art is your lifestyle. So figure it out how you're going to dedicate the rest of your life to it at 14. Deal with it. Like, what else is going to be your future? Nothing. This is all you know. So yeah, so I think that he like took on art as like, you know, his way of, you know, speaking to the world. It's his language. So, you know, his painting in motions are the first work in the gallery spaces. And then he also has a short film playing in the larger
Like a
auditorium space, performance space, like the one that has the whatchamacallit, chairs that go all the way up.
Wait, I never been in that room either.
Me either.
It's so dope. I was telling Edgar,
Yeah.
I've been to the performance in that space before,
Mhm.
and I just went on one of their like Thursday nights. They have events every third Thursday, and they had just Bulgarian like instrumentals, and it was like a band. And I had never heard Bulgarian music before. And the way that the theater is set up, the sound travels in such a beautiful way. Like it is so amazing. And then you have the light that's shining on the top. It's really beautiful. Like it's really, really dope. If you guys have a chance to go and see a performance, do it.
Yeah, I mean, like when we entered that space, it's a really beautiful space. Edgar, we're talking about the performance that we entered, the short film, the first time we went into the exhibition. So we were on the ground level with it on the screen right in front of us, and it wasn't accessible to go up to the higher stairs. But it was a beautiful film. I will have to say, I'm not a dancer. I know a lot of dancers, so I understand the beauty of dance, and I have had to sit through many of modern dance performances. Okay, had to sit through sounds like really aggressive. I enjoyed sitting through some of these performances. Dance is a visual language. It's a visual art. And it was interesting to see it in the film way. How'd you feel about it, Edgar? We can hear your voice now.
So I thought it was very soothing, actually. I thought it was really soothing and very, I don't know, I just wanted to sit and watch it like 2 more times, because it was just like, it felt like the channeling of the natural elements in a way, because if I remember correctly, there was like a lot of water, and then there was like kind of swirling, and it kind of made me think about like air. It was very like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Air, fire,
Exactly.
water, earth.
Yeah. It was like just that, with like doing that right by I don't know if, I think it was a museum or a concert venue. It just looked really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool choreography, and I think it was important for us to notice it was a choreography, because like that's not, FENWAY was not actually performing in the short film. He had a younger dancer in there. But it was very clear like to see his movements in that person. Because when you moved over to the gallery spaces, there were like all of these drawers, like archival drawers that you could open up, and you could see the history of his dance and the kind of the artifacts that came from his history as a dancer and choreographer, which is really beautiful.
I enjoyed that because it kind of gave you like a behind the scenes type of thing, kind of get to see like the insight. I agree, Edgar, like the video performance was like a meditation. I also agree that I wish I saw it a couple more times, because so even when I listen to music, I always hear like the beat first before I hear the words. And so with this, like I was listening to the music first before I was looking at the movement, because I feel like just for me, if I break it down in pieces, then I can see like what the story is. But like the music was just so soothing, and like you sit down and you're just like, I don't know, the space is just so I don't know, like, what's the word? Like feng shui? Like, you know, like the vibe was right.
Yeah. And I think that carries on through the actual paintings, right? The work is huge, for one. He works on a huge, large scale. It almost feels like he is literally he's literally dancing and choreographing a dance over these canvases. There was one work to the left that was blues and browns. There was one towards the center that was black and gray, and then there was one towards the right that was browns, because it was just made out of oil. It was just layers and layers of oil. And then the one towards the back of the room was black and gray as well. So for one, the work was overwhelmingly large. I can't even estimate, probably like 15 to 20 feet, I'm guessing. Tall.
It was huge.
It was huge, right? And we have a lot of good footage from it, so we'll show you guys great videos from that. But it was it was, I felt it. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a visual artist. I felt a much stronger connection to that work than the actual film myself. But that's because I could feel the movements, and I appreciate the movements of making even more than movements of performing. So I thought it was really just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And it took my breath away the first time I saw it. I would have to say that. I don't know if I'm the only one.
I want to piggyback off of what you just said. Like, I thought the dance was beautiful. Like, you know, I'm not very much into seeing modern dance. Like, I appreciate it. You know, it is an art, but I can sometimes, like, my mind can wander off. Like, it doesn't grab my attention for a long period of time. But I did see the video where he was painting with the, you know, while he was dancing, and I was like, okay, that's really, I liked watching him paint as he danced, not so much the dance part. And then the paintings, the oil paintings, the brown hues, that one was my favorite. I like went up close to it, and I was just like, I don't know, I got this beautiful feeling. It almost reminded me of like glitter being poured into like a glass of water, and then just kind of like emulsifying in the water, and then like that's what you see, like you're lost in these hues, and it was just blended. So I just thought it was amazing, and I was looking at it.
It's amazing that it's just oil at that too. Like, it's just layers and layers of paint, like of oil that you would mix in paint, and it is brown, but then there's like little tints of like of lavender. Like, you're like, how did he get the lavender?
One in the middle.
Like,
I saw that.
Look, I was confused. I'm a be real. After we walked in, I was like, whoa, because like we said, like it's huge. Everything was huge. And then I was like, okay, what am I looking at? You know, because I try to read the descriptions, but I also try to be like, let me look at it and what do I feel first before like I read and like get the explanation. So when I walked in, I was a little bit confused. I'll be real with y'all, because I wasn't too sure like what, I don't know, the medium was. Like, I wasn't too sure what he was using, but you said it was oil. So like, I should have paid more attention to that. But I will say, like, his paintings, you have to really like, I get why some people were taking a long time, because you have to really like look at it. You can really get lost, like in the brown one, in the tan brown one, oil one, the first one. It's like, honestly, it's like, you know how when you look in the sky and the clouds and they move and start making different shapes, like that's how it was. It felt like a storm, and the clouds were like, look, like it's all in your imagination. So to me, I saw like a battle. I saw like struggle. I saw like, you know, you in the storm and you trying to make it through, you know. And then like the big black one, I felt like that was like the nightmare. Like that was like the trauma or the event that you went through that like made the clouds look the way it looked. And then like after you go through the trauma, you're like in this peaceful, you know, you're in this like, I overcame it, you know, the sun is out, but like the skies are blue. And then that's when we went to the blue series. I was like, yo, I mean, I don't know if I was really tripping, but then eventually I remembered, and I think I was supposed to look up the name. I said I would, but his paintings eventually reminded me, and maybe this is like some Maybe I have to go see it there.
Oh, you were talking about the Freudian,
Yes.
ink splatter things.
Yeah.
You were talking
I was
about
like, wait a minute. These look like those ink splats. Like,
Oh, like the Rorschach test, I think.
Yes,
is what
the
it's called.
Rorschach test. There we
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're right, Ekar. I think that was really important when you were saying, Vaughn, that like, yes, all of these works, we should spend time and look at them. And when I was talking about that in our last clip about folks taking a long time to look at work, I was not talking about the work in Shinwei's galleries, right? I was talking about specifically the palace. Now, I think we did spend the most time looking at the Shinwei Paintings in Motion exhibition, which we came there to go there to do that. But that's not what the public was doing, right? They kind of went in, walked around, walked out. We were definitely there the longest time of the people that were in that space. And I would argue, yes, those types of work are the ones you're supposed to spend a lot of time with because there are so many ways you can read it. So they are beautiful works, and I suggest everyone go see it. They're on
compared to
View.
a chair.
Compared to a fancy chair that she got from Europe 100 and something years ago. That's broken. We can't even sit on it.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's comfortable. Like,
it's probably not even comfortable. If I sat on it, I'd probably break it.
Right.
We feel mad ugly.
Like,
but go see Shinwei's work. It is up until June 20th, my mama's birthday. So y'all got some time to go check it out. And his work is on the facade of the building as well. So if you do not have the time to go check out the inside of the work, at least go check out the outside. He has a painting in motion. It's a photograph of someone painting and dancing in motion, very like crossover of the two things happening. It's a woman in red. And
I was gonna say, is that the red one?
Yeah.
I think I missed that one.
It's called Passion Spirit.
I missed that one, but I saw the pictures online, so you can go online. The pictures are there.
Yes, all the pictures are there. We'll have all the links.
Don't go online. Go on our website.
Go on our website to check out all the information.
Come on, social media manager, let's go.
Right, forget Isabella. www.Isabella Gardner. No, www. Good road. Okay, get some activity going.
Exactly. Check out the blog. We'll have this video posted. If you are just listening, you'll be able to see all of us in our beautiful glory in our different spaces. And there will also be lots of videos, and that will be done by our glorious photographer, Steph. We appreciate you. And lots of photos that we took while we were there. And yeah, check out the blog and check out our episode next month, y'all, where we hope to capture,
on Juneteenth.
It's gonna be Juneteenth inspired. It's gonna be Pride inspired. It's gonna be a lot. Lots of pride. Pride to be Black, pride to be out, pride to be queer. And this month is a celebration of Asian American History Month, or Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So we are here celebrating Shinwei, a Chinese artist who is crossing over disciplines and making dope work. I'm sure if we were dancers, we would have a much beautiful things to say about his dances, but his paintings are gorgeous and we see those as very beautiful work. So check out the paintings and maybe, check out the dance too. You might enjoy that. Well, thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Peace.
Au revoir.
Hopefully we'll see each other soon.
Yeah, in person.
Another field trip.
Another field trip or bonding night soon.
Yes.